Hey guys, Lisa Callaghan here to share with you a video on how to create a class in Flocabulary and how to invite your students to join your class. All right, let's get started. So here we are on a teacher's homepage in Flocabulary. It's important to know that Flocabulary is not a rostered app. We do not manage this app in ClassLink. All we do is provide a tile for you here to be able to access your Flocabulary account. And your Flocabulary account is actually created by you. At the beginning of the school year, I send out an email to every school with a link to the Flocabulary account creation for teachers in each individual school. So please check your Gmail, search your Gmail either by myself. You might want to just put Flocabulary in the search bar at the top of your Gmail screen to find the email. If for some reason you cannot find it, just send me an email and I will send you over the link. The links are school based, so every school has a different account creation link. So don't try to contact someone, a friend from a different school, and ask for the link, because if you do and you create your account from the link of another school, you will have an account in that school and not your current school. Okay, so once you've created your account in Flocabulary, next, you're going to have to create your classes, and then you need to instruct your students on how to join your class. So you can create your class from two different places on your homepage. Up at the top menu bar, you have a My Classes menu option. And in the middle of the page, you have Create a Class on Flocabulary and Import from Google Classroom button in the middle of your homepage on Flocabulary. So I'm going to discourage anybody from creating your class in Flocabulary by importing your Google Classroom. And the reason why is because the way that we roster Google Classroom is it is pulling information from our student information system, PowerSchool, every few days, maybe even longer, possibly every few weeks. Um, Depending on your school, it has to do with an overload of our servers, so we really can't be pulling this data daily. So you might find a new student that has entered your class, and you might have to wait a few weeks, a few days, depending on when they enter into your classroom roster, and being able to see them on, or them actually being able, yeah, seeing them on your Flocabulary roster. So I discourage anybody from importing your students into Flocabulary classes from Google Classroom. I encourage you to create a class on Flocabulary either from this button or from the top menu choice here, My Classes. So I'm going to click on that one first because it does have a little bit more information here for you. So obviously the Create a Class button is what you're going to want to click on. But before we do that, I want to bring your attention down to this question mark where it says, how do students join a class? So I'm going to click on that question mark, and this is going to give you an overview of the 3 different ways that students can join your class. 2 of them aren't going to work for you. The last one is the one that you will use. So email invitations will not work because students, even though they have Google accounts that resemble a Google email, their email capabilities are disabled in the district, so they won't be able to utilize Gmail for them to be able to join your class. And I just explained why Google Classroom is not a good choice. So the third one is the class code, and that's what I encourage everybody to use, is the class code. So basically, you will have to share this URL with your students, www.flocabulary.com/join-class. You can share that with your students either in Schoology or in the chat if you're in a live Zoom with your students, so they can easily just copy and paste or click, depending on where you share this URL with your students, and access this page. Once they are there, they're going to be prompted to enter a class code. And I'm going to show you how you get that class code to share with your students. All right, so now that we've determined we're going to share the class code and have our students join Flocabulary from this link, now I'm going to show you how to create your class. So you're going to click on the Create a Class button, and this window pops up. Just so that you're aware, I'm going to go back to my homepage in Flocabulary, and if I click on Create a Class in Flocabulary, that same window pops up. So the reason why, obviously, I showed you how to access it from your menu bar option is because you had more information from that window. All right, so I'm going to click on subscription. This particular teacher has been a teacher in 2 schools. That's why it sees her account between 2 schools. And then she's going to name her class. If you're departmentalized, you might want to have 2 separate classes on Flocabulary, so you can assign, if you want to assign the same thing, you can to both classes, but if you want to assign something different depending on the pacing of your class, you have that opportunity to do that as well. So once you name your class, you click your grade level, and then you can click your subject area. 2 things to note here. There is an immersive reader feature in Flocabulary. It is in beta, meaning that they're just testing it out. So hovering my mouse over this question mark is going to reveal a little information. And it's just saying that immersive reader will give your students the ability to have text read aloud to them. They can adjust the text size and font. The text can be translated for them. And there's more on certain Flocabulary activities, so more choices, more options on Flocabulary activities when this immersive reader is turned on. And then you do have a link to a frequently asked question page for more information if you'd like. So I'm going to turn that on. And then the second one is the elementary filter, which when this slider is turned on, it will prevent your younger students from discovering units that touch on sensitive topics such as war or violence. And then again, there is a frequently asked question page for this option. I'm going to keep those 2, I have those 2 options turned on. Now I'm going to click on Create New Class. All right, so my class was created. And the email invitation is not what we're looking for. We're looking for number 2, which is the class code. There's my class code. And if I click on this, looks like 2 rectangles next to each other or behind each other. That's a copy little icon. So I'm going to click on that. And you see it's been copied to my clipboard. So now I have my code. And then I can go into either into Zoom or into Schoology, and I can paste my code, and then I can come back here and copy this link and then paste that link as well, so students are able to access this page. So I'm going to jump into this page right now so you can see what it looks like from the student's perspective. So when a student types in flocabulary.com/join-class, this is the page that they land on. And the first thing that they need to type in is the actual class code. So again, that's something that needs to be shared with the students along with the URL to this page. And then the student will click on Submit. Now they could choose if they are new to Flocabulary, if they need one. So here, if you only need one Flocabulary account for all of your classes, okay, click this mouse hover over this question mark is going to explain what that means. If this is the first class you've ever joined, select I'm new to Flocabulary. If you've joined a class before, select I already have a Flocabulary account. So what this will do is if students are in different classes from different teachers and they already have an account in another class, they would click on I already have another account, and this is going to just add this class, Ms. Valenti's class, to their already existing Flocabulary account, which would have a class from another teacher. But if this is the first time that they are accessing Flocabulary with a class, then they would click on I'm new to Flocabulary, create my account. So step 3 here, it's going to ask your students to create a username and password. I strongly discourage this. Why? Because adults have difficult time remembering usernames and passwords. So the best way for your students to create an account in Flocabulary and be joined to your class is if they scroll down and they choose log in with Google. So this is going to prompt them to type in their Google accounts. So what they will do is they will click on use another account, and they're going to type in their usernames, their UCID number, and their at ucboe.us, and then they're going to type in their password, which is their ID number. Okay, and this will allow students to join your Flocabulary class. All right, so this is a video on how to create and have your student join your class in Flocabulary. Okay, guys, I hope this helped. Have a great day.